Ocarina of Time on your PC? You can. We investigate the world of emulation. Is it legal? And what do you get when you cross a fighting game with the Final Fantasy series? We throw Square's Ehrgeiz on the grill. And speaking of Final Fantasy, we have a preview of the next installment in the epic console role-playing game, Final Fantasy VIII. So stick around. It's game time.
Welcome to GameSpot TV, your ultimate guide to computer and video games. I'm Lauren Fielder.
And I'm Adam Sessler. Now, for a lot of people, playing the 8 and 16-bit games can only happen if they have a game emulator on their PC. But is it legal?
Well, we take a look at the world of emulators, from playing PlayStation games on your Mac to playing The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time on your PC.
At Macworld today, Connectix is introducing the Virtual Game Station. It is software that they're going to sell for $49 that turns your Mac into a Sony PlayStation.
This announcement by Apple CEO Steve Jobs at the last Macworld Expo stunned the audience and grabbed the game industry's attention. But there's more to this than selling Macs. The commercialization of the Virtual Game Station puts a spotlight on emulators and emulation, a quiet underground phenomena that's flourishing under the shroud of the internet. The spotlight heightened the issues surrounding emulation. And what is an emulator?
An emulator is basically a computer program that lets you play a video game system game on your PC using a ROM cartridge, which is an image of the program that was originally used for that system.
The emulation of various game platforms gave birth to a different kind of gaming experience. Equipped with computers and modems, players can easily flash back to the Atari days and play Donkey Kong and Frogger with a click of the mouse.
Fans of retro games basically started this movement to program emulators for arcade machines and classic video game systems.
But times have changed. The fine line between hobby and piracy are being blurred by a new breed of emulators being created to run today's hottest PlayStation and Nintendo 64 titles. After downloading the emulator Ultra HLE and a 32-megabyte file, we were able to run Zelda Ocarina of Time on our Pentium 2 266 with a Monster Fusion board. Zelda the Ocarina of Time is one of the most popular games on the Nintendo 64. The Ultra HLE and the Zelda files were downloaded, free of charge. Running a demo version of the PlayStation emulator Bleem on the same PC, we were able to run Siphon Filter, a current PlayStation game. We had problems running the sound, but the Bleem demo emulator was free to download. Similar to the Virtual Game Station, the Bleem emulator transformed our PC into a PlayStation system. As you might expect, both emulators were not endorsed by Sony and Nintendo. Sony filed suits against Connectix and Bleem, claiming that the VGS and Bleem's emulator violate Sony's intellectual property rights for its PlayStation console. Connectix CEO Roy McDonald believes his product is legal.
Well, Connectix is confident that we've developed this product and marketed it in a way that doesn't infringe on any third party's intellectual property. So we feel that our product is legitimate, and we're going to carry on with business as usual.
But after several bouts in court, Sony has won an injunction to keep Connectix from selling their product. Nintendo, on the other hand, plans to pursue legal action against the author of the Nintendo emulator Ultra HLE. Known only as Reality Man and Epsilon, the authors decided to avoid litigation by removing the emulator from their site. The emulators mentioned only touched the tip of the emulation iceberg. A quick search on the net revealed hundreds of thousands of emulation sites for every game system imaginable. According to the trade organization Interactive Digital Software Association, the electronic entertainment industry lost over $3 billion last year to illegal sales and distribution of entertainment software. As an industry watchdog, IDSA leads an anti-piracy campaign that hopes to end the trend that it believes hurts the game industry as a whole. But IDSA will have their hands full. The Internet Underground will be tough to regulate, and free games will always be irresistible. The debate continues.
If you're interested in watching the streaming video of our emulation feature, you'll find it at the ZDTV website at zdtv.com/GameSpot TV.
And if you have a game question or you just want to let us know what you think about a particular topic, just go to our message boards in the Game Help section and tell the world and us how you feel.
And now, it's time for the game news.
In this week's game news, in a staunch display of gamer unity, fans of 3DO's popular Heroes of Might and Magic series have ardently voiced their collective opinions in order to alter the release of an upcoming expansion pack. Armageddon's Blade for Heroes of Might and Magic 3 was originally designed to include a new type of hamlet known as the Forge Town, whose characters include science fiction-esque fighters like the chainsaw-wielding cyber zombie. Being that the series has thus far centered around fantasy-like play, this change in setting has spawned an email letter-writing campaign, which convinced the publisher to remove the sci-fi town and replace it with another, more traditional Heroes one. VideoGames.com News has recently learned from Sega that the upcoming Dreamcast title, Geist Force, will be canceled. The production was put to a halt because, says the Sega spokesperson, the quality of the game was not up to par with Dreamcast standards. This is the first Dreamcast title to be officially canceled. The Professional Gamers League Finals were recently held in New York. The PGL gives out prizes to the top players of popular PC games. This season's winners were Guillaume Patry, or Gurr, in StarCraft, and Bon Danon, or Kuen, in Quake 2. Both went undefeated throughout the weekend of finals, and each player took home a check for $10,000.
If you're looking for more gaming news, go to the GameSpot.com and the VideoGames.com website.
And if you just didn't get enough E3, you can go to our website at zdtv.com/GameSpot TV. Check out our PC and console picks from the convention.
And if you have any questions about anything on the show, send us your feedback via email at GameSpotTV@zdtv.com.
Coming up on GameSpot TV, are you ready for a game of cat and mouse? We have a preview of the PlayStation title, Rat Attack. And try to stay out of the rough, we have a review of the PC golf game Jack Nicklaus 6 Golden Bear Challenge.
Welcome back. You know that old style of arcade gaming where you just try to accomplish simple, colorful tasks seems to be something that only exists now on an emulator.
Well, I have heard you're quite a Kaboom fan.
Oh, huge.
Well, Mindscape is attempting to recapture that magic in a game called Rat Attack. But will it work? Like the Cold War of smaller mammals, the rivalry between cat and mouse has been well documented in that wide spectrum between children's stories and Tom and Jerry cartoons. Now Mindscape and Pure Entertainment are jumping into the mix with Rat Attack for the PlayStation and the N64. What you see here is the PlayStation version of the game, which will run in high-res mode at 60 frames per second. As you might be able to tell, the game is aspiring to that old-school coin-op feel. That's why the objective is easy: get rid of all the rats. In order to do so, you must scoop the vermin up and drop them off. Unfortunately, if you get hit by a rat, you drop all of yours. And if you get hit while ratless, you die. But true to form, you get 9 lives. Other classic elements include the dog, Bennett, who surprisingly doesn't like you, maybe because you're a cat. The rats try to disturb him to exploit his feline bias. With kitschy design and even kitschy music, Rat Attack might be trying to recapture the simplistic joys of the arcade games of yore. Will we buy it? Find out when it releases in the fall.
Well, that game was interesting.
The Jack Nicklaus Golf Series has been around a long time, almost as long as Jack himself. And PC golf has really become a viable way for golfers and non-golfers alike to spend time together.
Well, now we have Jack Nicklaus 6 Golden Bear Challenge on the grill.
Golf games aren't just for the frustrated business traveler anymore, so gamers should get ready to tee off with Jack Nicklaus 6 Golden Bear Challenge. Compared to the earlier versions, Jack Nicklaus 6 is a more streamlined, better-looking game. There are 10 nicely crafted, motion-captured, and hardware-accelerated 3D golfers. The fluid motion and animations look very natural, and they work perfectly in the 2D game world. The club control and physics are great. Players can use a 2-click, 3-click, or dynamic mouse swing interface, and each works fine. The gamer is in total control of the amount of fade and draw, as well as trajectory. In an interesting switch, Jack Nicklaus 6 incorporates some of the golfer profile elements from the Greg Norman and Microsoft golf games. When creating a golfer, players can allot points to power, accuracy, putting, and the short game. This creates a more balanced variety of golfers and gives them more personality. With the course designer, players have complete control over the look and shape of the entire golf course. The game ships with 6 courses, but literally hundreds of user-made courses can be imported with no graphical loss. Overall, Jack Nicklaus 6 not only offers a cutting-edge golf game with multiple courses, but also a stunningly popular course editor. This makes it far and away the greatest value and most replayable game on the market. T. Liam McDonald from GameSpot.com gave Jack Nicklaus 6 Golden Bear Challenge a rating of 9.1 out of 10.
What a shot! Now, I'm not a golfer, but that game really does look remarkable.
I think I'm going to hold out for Mario Golf.
Yeah, it does look pretty good, which is more than we can say for this next game. Check out Fighting Force for the N64.
Even if you have fond memories of Final Fight and Streets of Rage, you may want to give a good think before playing Fighting Force 64 for the N64. In the game, you play one of 4 characters that have the same basic attacks with a few special attributes and special moves thrown in. Playing the game consists of entering a new area and beating up all the bad guys the game keeps on throwing at you. There are 7 different levels comprised of 25 different stages. This means there's lots and lots of the same thing to do over and over again. And can you believe it, it gets boring real fast. You have to stay in the same area of a level until all the enemies have been defeated, and there seems to be an endless supply of mean fellows to pound. There's no diversity in the manner of their attacks, so the game quickly descends into meaningless button pounding. The graphics are also nothing to scream about. It's a little better than the PlayStation version, but the game suffers from slowdown when there are too many characters and objects on the screen. Fighting Force may have been a good game if the designers had created different types of enemies and offered more attacks for both you and them. Ryan McDonald from VideoGames.com gives Fighting Force 64 a 4 out of 10.
Well, if that didn't do it for you, seriously, hold out for Fighting Force 2 on the Dreamcast and on the PlayStation. It's already looking better.
Couldn't get much worse.
Jaded. Well, next cheats are in honor of the upcoming release of the Age of Empires sequel, Age of Kings.
Here's some amusing cheats for the Rise of Rome expansion pack.
To access the Rise of Rome cheats, press Enter to open the chat window and then type in one of the following codes. Type in King Arthur and the birds will change into dragons. If you really want to confuse your enemies, type in Pow, Big Mama, and you'll get the infamous Baby on a Trike unit, which really doesn't look like a baby or a trike. Type in Storm Billy and you'll get the Zug 209 robot unit. Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
If you're looking for cheat codes, you can find them on the GameSpot TV website in the Game Help section.
And while you're there, check out our new message boards. You can put up your favorite codes, game tips for other gamers, or just have a good vent about whatever you like.
Coming up on GameSpot TV. Get ready for lethal yo-yos. We have a review of Squaresoft's ultimate 3D fighting game, Ehrgeiz. And are you ready to go behind enemy lines? We toss Commandos beyond the Call of Duty on the grill.
Welcome back. Now, as you may have seen with the upcoming Dreamcast title Power Stone, the next generation of 3D fighting games are beginning to use their entire environment as a more integral part of the game.
Ah, they're taking it from wrestling games. But you know, Ehrgeiz is on the way. It's already been released in Japan, and it's definitely fitting in that next-gen fighting territory. But does it stack up?
Ever since its announcement in late 1997, Ehrgeiz has been among the most eagerly awaited games for the PlayStation. The excitement was understandable considering the collaboration of Squaresoft and Namco. Unfortunately, many of those who have been eagerly anticipating the game's release might be disappointed in the final results. The title of the game comes from a sword that represents the strongest fighter in the world. The game follows the pattern of Tekken 3, with elaborate stories and subplots, animated and high-quality motion-captured FMV, and broadens its appeal with the inclusion of characters from the Final Fantasy series. The gameplay follows Dream Factory's Tobal series, in that fighters battle it out in a 3D arena. Although the game includes the addition of an unintuitive blocking system, which requires you to leave the joystick neutral in order to block high, while pressing guard makes your characters crouch and block low. Expect to spend some time getting used to this blocking mechanism, especially considering that you will find yourself with your back to your opponent on many occasions. Graphics in the game are among the best on the PlayStation, yet they are not as impressive as Tobal 2. The game, though, has impressive visuals and high resolution, and it moves at 60 frames per second. At the same time, the camera offers up some of the most awkward angles ever in a 3D fighter. Ehrgeiz is a faithful port of an arcade game that just doesn't stand up to other games in its genre. Despite the impressive graphics, there's just not much of a game here. Che Chu from VideoGames.com gives it a 5.8 out of 10.
I've played it. It's fun, but my vote is still on Power Stone.
Hey, you still can't rip Tekken 3 out of my hands.
Commandos Behind Enemy Lines was a squad-based game that involved stealth, strategy, and a good use of a sniper rifle. And now Eidos has released an expansion pack.
We have Commandos Beyond the Call of Duty on the grill.
Commandos Beyond the Call of Duty is a standalone expansion pack to the original Commandos Behind Enemy Lines. Behind Enemy Lines was a surprise hit. It cleverly combined strategy, puzzle, and action elements to create an unusual and exciting game. And at first glance, Beyond the Call of Duty is more of the same with a few new bells and whistles. The Beyond the Call of Duty expansion pack has 8 missions, while the original had 3 times that many. And this time around, the game is even more difficult. It starts out frustrating and stays that way. The original Commandos was satisfying because its puzzle-like situations had specific solutions. By comparison, the missions for Beyond the Call of Duty seem clumsier. After completing a mission, it often seems like it happened by luck instead of good level design on the developer's part. The interface doesn't really lend itself to multitasking, since the Commandos are slow to respond and need to be micromanaged. And it certainly isn't any easier in this game, since all the hotkeys have been switched around and players are not allowed to customize their keyboards. While there have been subtle changes, many of them adversely affect gameplay. Overall, fans of the original game will enjoy Beyond the Call of Duty because of the inherent similarity to the original. However, gamers new to the series will likely become frustrated with insanely difficult levels and cumbersome controls. Greg Kasavin of GameSpot.com gave Commandos Beyond the Call of Duty a rating of 6.6 out of 10.
If you want to read the full review of Commandos Beyond the Call of Duty, you can find it on the GameSpot.com website.
And if you're looking for the video game reviews, you'll find the latest titles, including Ehrgeiz, at the VideoGames.com website.
Coming up on GameSpot TV, we have a preview of Squaresoft's epic role-playing game Final Fantasy VIII. And Dave Salvatore from Computer Gaming World shows us the latest in PC hardware.
Welcome back. Now, you know, Adam, Final Fantasy VIII's been out in Japan for a while, sold like 2 million copies the first weekend, and it's coming to the States soon.
So, here's our preview of Square's Final Fantasy VIII.
For those who've just emerged from under a rock, take note, Final Fantasy VIII is coming. The game from Squaresoft that sold over 3 million copies in Japan will soon be hitting U.S. shores. Final Fantasy VIII's storyline involves students at a military academy who are brought into an elite combat unit set to capture the Galbadian President Daring, who has aligned himself with a powerful sorceress. While the teen beat elements may seem off-putting to some, the story does take on epic qualities. One of the most noticeable things about the game is the graphics that have changed from the super deformed characters of the originals to actual people in correct proportion to their environments. Full motion video segments are well integrated with gameplay to give a seamless playing experience. Of note, in changes to gameplay, is the manner of acquiring money that has changed from just defeating monsters to completing missions and receiving compensation. Get ready for Final Fantasy VIII this fall.
We'll definitely keep watching for more of Final Fantasy VIII. So, Adam, what's in today's Game Gear?
Well, Dave Salvatore's back with a couple of USB devices that can ease some of that PC gaming pain.
One of the great things about PlayStation and the Nintendo 64 is the brain-dead simplicity of connecting and disconnecting controllers. Well, thanks to USB, we now have that simplicity on the PC. Graphics has been making their gamepad for about 4 years, so to look at this one, you'd think there's not a lot new to it. But this one's actually now using USB, and what's neat about it is the driver they use is what's called a human interface driver, or a USB HID device. And what this allows you to do is when you install this guy, there's a driver built into Windows 98 that'll let you get this thing up and running. So when you buy one of these, it actually doesn't come with a driver disc. This gamepad's terrific for sports titles, martial arts fighting titles, and any console-like title that you want to play on your PC. And if you're a PlayStation gamer, the button layout on this guy will look very familiar to that you've seen on your PlayStation. The Graphics Gamepad USB sells for about $30, so you might want to pick up a couple of them and you'll be in business. But all that glitters on the USB bus is not gold. Logitech has brought out what they're calling the Wingman Gaming Mouse, which aside from running on USB and having some driver software that'll let you tweak how many times the CPU pulls it per second, isn't really anything new. It's essentially a warmed-over, older design that Logitech brought out a couple of years ago. But given the Wingman's aging design and its lack of a wheel, you might want to give this one a pass.
Hey, Lauren, remember the TV movie Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, where the band got to use their superhero powers on the carnies?
Oh, you bet. Super Ace Frehley and Paul Starchild Stanley. How could you forget that?
I don't know.
Well, you know, Gathering of Developers is working on its Kiss title, and we have a sneak peek. Check out Kiss Psycho Circus.
Show.
Very cool. I just hope there's a Phantom of the Park element in the game.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
Now, puzzle games can be really addictive, but they can also be very frustrating.
Now, in the spirit of Commandos and Lemmings, Grunts from Monolith Productions is a game that is sure to be challenging.
So here are a few cheats for Grunts.
To activate cheats for Monolith's puzzle game Grunts, press enter and type in one of the following codes. Want to skip to the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids level? Type in MP, make me some pie. Type in MP, you're so money, and you'll be sent to the High Rollers level. Can't get by the enemy Grunts? Type in MP cloaking device, and the Invisible Man will have nothing on you.
That's it for now, but you can always check us out on the web at zdtv.com/GameSpot TV.
And don't forget to join us on the web next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern to have a chat with myself and Lauren.
And be sure not to miss next week's show. We'll be showing you a review of LucasArts' Star Wars title, Episode 1 Racer.
Until then,
bye.
bye.
Show.